I'm Katie Wells, host of the Maximized Minimalist podcast. I escaped the hamster wheel of modern-day motherhood, overwhelmed by clutter and buried under the mental load. Now I live in a home that feels calm, manageable, and made for real life. I have margin in my days, energy for who matters most, and time for slow mornings and silly dance parties in the kitchen with my family. With over 5 million listens, the show has helped women around the world turn their homes into their happy place. Around here, we simplify for more peace, more presence, and more joy. We choose grace over guilt and progress over perfection. And we believe your home should give back more than it takes. I'm here to help you do the same. Come along with me and my guests as we share the real stories, habits, and strategies that help you lighten the load from the inside out. Pull up a seat, friend, and let's do this together. Ready, set, simplify. Hey friend, welcome back to the Maximized Minimalist. I cannot believe for the life of me that it is December. Oh my gosh. Okay, so today I want to tell you about one of those moments that looks completely ordinary on the outside, but really ends up changing a big direction of your life. This is a moment I never planned for, a moment I came on so many occasions to just brush off. And it is the very reason you're hearing this particular episode today. So grab your coffee, reheat that coffee, grab your cold Americano, whatever you're drinking, let's jump in. A few years ago, I was standing in my laundry room, as one does, doing what every parent knows too well, folding another huge mountain of clean clothes that somehow never makes it into the drawers. And this was probably, 2021, 2020, not long after I started this show. And while I was folding, I was thinking about this idea that had just been stirring in my heart, this belief that your home doesn't have to be perfect to support you. It doesn't have to look like Pinterest or Instagram to give you peace. It just has to be good enough to hold you and your family well. Have you ever had that, like an idea that keeps poking at your heart even when you're not sure what to do with it? Well, right in the middle of this thought, I'm folding like my kids' clothes. I hear a voice say, "Put it in your book." I was like, what? It was one of those moments like you see them in movies, or maybe like you've been in a room with a lot of people and you see someone across the room and they're waving towards you and their mouth is moving and you're like, are you looking at me? And you look behind you, you look over your left shoulder, you look over your right shoulder. You're like, are they talking to me? What? They couldn't, what? But I was the only one in the room. I was like, what is this? Just like that. It was so clear and direct. It was so unmistakable. I actually laughed and said like, God, what book? Writing a book. I don't want to write a book. And at the time, I wasn't. I had zero plan, zero desire, zero belief that writing a book was something I could or even wanted to do. But that moment stuck with me and it planted something like I couldn't even shake. It just brings tears to my eyes. And really, I was in a season where now the seed was planted and I decided like, what do I do with this seed? Do I let it shrivel up and die? Do I water it a little bit? Do I wait and just see if it survives on its own? And so really I was like, okay, this is going to stay in the back of my mind. It's just, I'm tabling it for now because this is not a season to write a book for me with like 2 kids under 4 years old or 5 at the time. It's just, I guess in that sense, I gave it a little water every now and then to remind the plant and the seed that like, I'll be coming for you and so will more sunlight, but it just wasn't my season. And then all these different things started unfolding. And this is through prayer, through conversations with friends, through connecting with people in the online space who had authored books and connected me with their connections. And just these nudges from people who see things in me that I often don't see in myself. I started realizing something like God just wasn't giving me this random idea. He was calling me into something I couldn't yet imagine. There was a church service I sat in, like it must have been 10 years ago at least. I think it was longer. It was before I had kids. So 15 years ago. It was right about the time I moved to Asheville. I was sitting outside the gym and I was listening to a pastor. So it wasn't even a church service. It was just, someone preaching on the radio and I was listening, about to go in and do my workout. And I think so often, like we hear these verses and we're like, oh, yes, that makes total sense on paper. But we don't see ourselves in that verse. We're like, oh, that works really well. And it's just like a good thing to say. But like, that's not for me sometimes, and the verse or the quote from the pastor, it wasn't a verse. It was, God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. And for whatever reason, throughout the years, that stuck with me. And especially when I branched off from my previous career and started this podcast and all these new things, like I really had to lean into that. And I had to pray, like, God, please equip me with what I need to help serve these women, and serve these families who are living in a place I've been. And it's, not the most comfortable place to be. And he's totally been there and done that through every season for me. So with this book idea, I didn't really chase it. I didn't force it, and I didn't hustle for it, which sounds really weird because I know so many people who are like, this is their dream. They want to write a book. They have this big passion to have a certain publisher and do these big things. And I was like, that's not me. I just want to stay small and have my podcast where people can't see me, and simply, I just kept taking the next step and the next and the next. And these steps led me to my agent, then my publisher, then into the creative process of writing the book. After a hurricane hit my town and I had to leave for 2 months, it was just such an insane time to write a book. And honestly, it still feels like one of the biggest honors of my life because I didn't just write a book. Like I truly feel like I followed a calling, and it's just so epic. So today I finally get to tell you, I wrote a book. I wrote a dang book. It's called Making Home Your Happy Place, which just like the title, gets me. And the real life guide to decluttering without the overwhelm. It comes out February 17th. And oh my gosh, I'm just crying saying the title of the book. Like this is, I don't know, it's just such a crazy moment. Like the laundry room moment, looking back, wasn't really about just a book. It was about realizing something I think so many of us forget. And that is like, we are often met by God or, whatever, the universe, whatever that looks like for your faith and belief. Like he meets us in the middle of ordinary life. And the callings we never saw coming can show up in these spaces where we don't expect, right? I had that seed. Well, what do we do with it? And that's really the heart of this book. And if you've been a listener for a while, you know that I teach clutter is rarely just about the stuff. It's the stories, it's the emotions, beliefs, and pressures wrapped up around the stuff. Guilt, fear, I'll deal with it later. The shame of feeling behind, the belief that everyone else has it figured out but you. Does any of that feel familiar? Like you can declutter your home over and over. But until you have an understanding of yourself, the clutter and the overwhelm will keep coming back. And this book I wrote to help everyone break that cycle. This isn't a declutter faster book, although it will help you do that. It's not about tossing half your belongings or living in a beige home that looks like a museum. It's not about color-coded bins or unrealistic routines. If you know me, you're like, praise, Katie. I already know that about you. But for any new listeners, just to be clear, this book is about freedom. Freedom from shame, freedom from overwhelm. Do you ever walk in your house and feel so overwhelmed? Like you just want to turn right around and walk back out? I've been there. Do you ever feel ashamed when someone comes over unexpectedly or someone wants to come over, but you're like, I'm so ashamed about my house. I won't have them over, or that's all you can think about is what they're thinking about when they walk into your home? I've been there. What about freedom from unrealistic expectations? If you are so freaking tired of being sold this perfect after photo, do this step-by-step thing and your home's going to look like a Pottery Barn ad and it's going to stay that way. If you're tired of all of these myths we're being sold really as the solution, if you want freedom from believing your worth is tied to how your home looks, this is the book I needed 15 years ago. When I sat on the floor one day, surrounded by piles of stuff, wondering, why can't I get this right? What's wrong with me? I'm so overwhelmed. And all these methods that promise to be my solution are all failing me. And the truth I wish I knew then was, I wasn't failing the solutions. They were failing me, right? Nothing was wrong with me and nothing's wrong with you either. You just need a compassionate, real life approach that honors who you are and the life you're living. So before I walk you through one of the frameworks inside the book, let me ask you this. Can you imagine what it would feel like to have a way of decluttering that finally makes sense for you, your season in life? I have people in all seasons of life listening to this show. Your energy, your time, your reality. So inside the book, I guide you through my holistic decluttering method. This is the same framework I use with my clients inside Clutter Cure Club, my inner circle, and it's built on 3 really important pillars. Number 1, root awareness. Y'all, in this community, we pull those weeds out by the root, meaning the clutter weeds. All methods out there that I tried and I failed with, you probably have too, they treat clutter like they're chopping it off at the surface. Your garden's going to look good for a day or 2 if you're lucky, and then boom, the weeds are back. This is about understanding the emotions and habits and beliefs that keep you stuck. When other methods focus on the stuff, I focus on you. We focus on you. You are part of the solution, which hopefully gives you freedom and hope, right? I get so geeked out over this. I freaking love it. Empowered action, small, bite-sized steps that fit into your real life. Gone are the days where you think, oh my God, I have to quit my job to make this work. Oh my gosh, I don't have time to do another weekend marathon purge. You don't have to. I will never ask you to. Even on the messy days, I teach you how to show up, because life is messy and solutions should fit your life, not we're tired of trying to rewrite our lives to fit these idealistic practices that simply aren't sustainable, y'all. We're tired of it. And sustainable momentum, simple systems that support you so your home works for you, not against you anymore. And this method honors your whole self. That's why it's called holistic. That sounds kind of like a pun. It's not. Holistic, right? Your story, your season, your energy, your humanness. Gosh, I feel like so many methods and stuff out there is just treats us like we're robots, when the reality is we're not, we're humans. I mean, maybe one day we'll be robots, but for now, get the book. One of the favorite parts of the book, I have a lot of favorite chapters, but I think one thing you'll love the most is I have 4 different chapters on the 4 clutter types. This is something I discovered, curated, really came up with along my own journey, because I was tired of the one-size-fits-all decluttering methods that were quote unquote supposed to work, but didn't for me, until I realized there are different types of clutter and each one needs its own toolkit, right? Just like when you're building a house, you don't just have wood, a hammer, and a nail. You need different tools for different jobs. Same thing applies here, right? And when you recognize these different clutter types, I'm telling you, everything starts to click so much easier. So there's superficial clutter type. This is the surface piles that reappear the moment life speeds up. Then we have scarcity clutter. These are just in case items that can feel safe to our nervous systems, but equally suffocating to our homes. We have sentimental clutter. Of course, most people are familiar with that one. The memory-filled treasures. And then you have the identity clutter type. These are items tied to our past or future or aspirational versions of ourselves, right? Clutter is so nuanced. And this book, I am so excited because I fully believe in my heart, and I wouldn't have written it if I didn't believe this. It fills such a gaping hole in this market, right? Oh man, massively. It's just, I cannot wait for you to read it. When I wrote the identity clutter chapter, for example, I cried. I cried probably at some point in every chapter. I'll be honest. I'm just a crier, and that's fine. But that was a big one for me, and being able to work through and give you the toolkit I wished I had on all of these different clutter types. And you can read those and help your family members who might struggle with those clutter types. It is just so cool. I can't wait to see how you use it, how you, teach the concepts maybe to your partner or your kids or your friends and family. I really wrote this for the woman who needs permission to evolve, to grow, to change, and who needs support to let go of what no longer fits. And isn't that really all of us? My favorite thing just with every chapter and the structure is that I weave story with strategy, just like I do on this show, like real talk with real tools. A few things you'll explore early on in the book is your stuff story. These are the beliefs you've carried from childhood. I mean, about money, worth, about how you view things, and all the ways that kind of weave into your stuff story and impact what you keep, what you buy, what you declutter. I mean, it's really like the soil in which everything grows, right? We talk about the good enough home more in detail. We talk about systems that do the heavy lifting. We talk about onboarding your family without nagging. Oh, sounds like a dream, right? Like this book, I'm telling you, it's everything you love about the podcast. And it's just like right there in your hands, right? There's something to be said about, I envisioned, think about like so many of us read books and we read them once and we're like, that was really good. And then like we never open it again. My hopes and truly how I envision you using this book is like a companion that you come back to time and time again, right? Like, okay, I tackled this clutter type. Now I'm ready to tackle the other clutter type. What do I need to do? And then you flip to that page, you dog ear, you highlight, you write in it. I want to see these books like used, heartily, heavily used. Maybe not ripped, but like you get the idea. Like I want this to be something you come back to time and time again. And I really feel like this is it. And if you feel excited about this or curious or like, you're like, maybe like this book is already tugging at your heart, like it tugged on mine, you can pre-order it now, making home your happy place right now. As a thank you, I'll send out a few really beautiful bonus goodies that are simple, supportive tools that you can apply now through the holiday season or in January once the holidays are over. That'll help give you some momentum long before the books arrive on your doorstep on February 17th. Just some thoughtful gifts to say thank you for being here so early in this journey. I always cry. But man, this is, if you've known anyone that's published a book or just been on a journey, like, I mean, maybe you've cried around clutter too. It's like, it's a thing, you know, it's emotional. And I think back to the first podcast I ever recorded. It was 2019. And I remember like picturing the person I was talking to. I pictured this girlfriend I had in high school. And I just had to remind myself, like, I was so scared to be like rejected or people would hate me or be like, this is the worst podcast I've ever heard. And all these fears we have in life, you know? And I mean, sure, I get negative reviews. Who doesn't? But it's like, I have to keep moving forward. And it's like taking action even when you're scared. And that for you, depending on where you are, might just be like ordering the book, right? Ordering the book, enjoying your holidays, and then coming back to it at the beginning of the year. And look at us now. Like, look at us now, whether you're new to the show or have been here for the last almost 6 years. I just want to thank you so much. Y'all are really such a great community. And it sounds weird sometimes to say that out loud, but I've also met so many of you through my Clutter Cure Club community, my inner circle. And like, I see your faces. I feel like I'm talking right to you, you know, through this podcast every single week. And I really am privileged to have this platform. And to close us up, you know, I still think about that moment in the laundry room. It's like, it amazes me how God uses the most ordinary moments to guide us into the next chapter of our lives. And it doesn't mean because we say yes, that it won't be hard or that it won't be scary or like, I'm still scared. Like, you know, like I still have self-doubt. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? You know, but I just have to keep telling myself, like, even if this book helps just one person, I know it'll help more, but even if it were to just help one person, like I've done my job. And I really mean that. So if you've been waiting for a sign, if you've been craving peace, if you've been craving like a fresh start, maybe this is your moment too, to like go back to that moment in time where that seed was given to you, but you couldn't or weren't able to do something with it in the moment. Like maybe you can get your watering can and start watering it, give it a little sunlight and see what happens, right? All right, friend, I'm snotty, I'm tearful, my mascara is on my face, but luckily you can't see me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me into your home and heart every single week. It is like one of the greatest privileges of my life to serve you. And for those who pre-order the book, I just can't wait for you to read it. Oh, and before you go, I want to give you a little sneak peek into what's coming the rest of this month. I know the holiday season can feel like a lot. It took me 20 minutes the other day to like find clothes that aren't stained for my kids, like upcoming Christmas pageant, like their Christmas concert. I'm like, do we have any non-stained clothes y'all can wear on top of everything else we have to deal with as parents this time of year? But throughout December, I'm going to kind of front load the episodes and take the last couple weeks off of December because I know y'all will be doing the same, but I'll be releasing some bonus episodes every Monday that are going to be super actionable, like quick wins you can do in just a few minutes. And we'll talk about what to do with unwanted stuff, simple resets that are going to make your home feel lighter like instantly. Because if I know anything about December, it's that your home can get real crowded real fast, which means your stress goes up, and we want to bring that stress back down. So these bonus episodes are designed just to help bring you a little more grounding, a little more peace, a little more progress without adding more to your plate. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit follow or subscribe, and you won't miss those when they drop. All right, friend, you know what to do. Ready, set, simplify. Talk to you soon. Bye.